Now I'm going to show you how I made my little strap puller tool here. First of all, I got a camera going right here above my head. We're going to get that overhead view. This is actually a fairly easy project. Not a whole lot of stuff involved. I'm sure you could do this differently, but I'm going to show you how I did it, and it works wonderful. An easy to use device that's way better than my old way of doing it with the little plastic knife. Way better and less dangerous than using a coat hanger or long screwdriver or any of that stuff. Starts with, this is a small piece of sheet metal from, I believe it was Home Depot, 0.025 inches thick. I'm going to use my Cutco super shears. You could use tin snips. I'm sure there's plenty of other ways to cut this material. I have a small file, a pair of vice grips, Sharpie, and a piece of strap leather. So right off the bat, this thing here, let me grab a ruler. The one I already made, only one side of this ruler is legible, is roughly 7.5 inches long. I'm going to go 8 inches this time, so I know I need 16 inches of my cut here. Just going to take my ruler, mark my 12-inch line, and then 4 more inches. And then I'm going to just take a strap, and I know where my ending point is here. I'm just going to trace it along that edge. I mean, you could easily do this with a ruler and a straight edge if you want. Should be about right there. If you're using regular metal shears, probably a little easier. Just starting off, we're just cutting this thing out as relatively straight and flush as we can. One reason I used the strap was that with a Sharpie marker, I know that putting the strap along the edge and then using the Sharpie marker, I'll come out just a little bit wider than my strap. And that's for 2 reasons. Number 1 is it holds the strap really well. And number 2 is we're going to have to fine tune these edges to get rid of any sharpness. So that gives us some extra material to play with while we're doing that. First thing we want to do is we can just kind of flatten out the corners here so we're not curved on the corners, like from cutting it, you know. I know I need to be 8 inches. I'm doing a thin line with it there so that I can make my mark. Maybe just use this as a bit of a straight edge to start the folding. I made the little mark, put my edge there just to get the crease started in a nice sharp way. And now I'm going to fold it down, try to keep my edges fairly close right there. Now I'll take these and pinch it across there just to really snug up that bend as sharp as I can. Now you can see how I'm closing that gap. Okay, we're pretty darn straight. I have a little bit of an overlap here, doesn't really matter, but I'm going to trim that off. Somehow I came out about 1/8 of an inch long on one end. Next thing I want to do is get rid of any sharpness on these edges. If you have a Dremel with a like metal, one of the stone that's for grinding, you can use that and go really fairly fast at this. Fairly decent right now. It's something I can handle without cutting myself. Now we want to make a slight point across the top of here. I can only nip the corners here. Like that. And then again, got to get those edges off of there and those points. Just that little bit of a shape there helps feed it through the material inside, whether it's deer hair, polyfill, or shred foam, or whatever. I also like to take off the corners down here just a little. Yeah, that feels pretty good to me. I like to open it up fairly wide so I can get the nose of that strap tucked right up into there, and then just squeeze it as you feed it through. When I opened this video up, I had a little trouble on the second hole coming out the edge, and that was just because the angle. So it was nice. I kind of pulled out a little bit and bent this a little bit so I have a bit of a curve, so that as I pushed it through, it came up through the slot nice and easy. So let's pull a strap again. And we'll use the new one we just made. Okay, we know our buckle goes on this end here. So we're gonna feed this in, aim for the slot over here. Comes right through. Just keep pulling. Just make sure you didn't pull loose from the tool. And then we need to come out over here. So this is where I put that little bit of an upward bend. I can feel it. I can feel it hitting right back here. So I know I need a little bit more bend because I'm unable to get that much of an angle to it. There, I can feel it on my fingertip. And pull it through. Beautiful. All right. Well, there's one more how-to project on the new workbench here. Hopefully you find this useful. I recommend anybody that's got a few sets of pads, old pads that have the leather straps. You know, when you get these things, the straps are always the worst. So always carry a couple of extra straps. Don't worry about having the right color in your tool bag, especially if you have multiple sets of pads. Just get a set of black straps. Highly recommend you have something like this and one of those packs in your bag at all times. It'll come in handy. As always, thanks for watching.